Hi guys, welcome to the Financial Twins. My name is Mark, and today I'm going to be talking to you guys about what my retirement plans are and how my wife and I are planning to retire within the next 5 to 7 years. You guys asked for it, so here it is. There are a lot of different investment options out there, like stocks, that can give a really decent return on investments. They're really passive and don't really require much work, which is really nice. But I want to be able to be completely financially independent as fast as possible with as least amount of risk. Because of this, I spend a lot of my time researching investment options, reading books, listening to podcasts, and watching videos on how people grow their wealth. The most consistent investment I have found that grows wealth is real estate. We've covered why houses are such a good investment before in another video. Click the tab above to give it a watch. What my situation is my wife and I want to be financially independent. We try to live as frugal as we can right now and save as much as we can and invest it into the future. We don't have any debt. We have our cars paid off, our phones paid off, everything is paid in cash except for our house. We're both working full-time at a large retail store. Because of this lifestyle, we're able to save something close to 65% of our income a month into investments. This means we have something close to $3,000 a month to invest. Now, if we put that in stocks and assumed a 10% growth per year, we could have $1 million by the time that we're 40 years old. We're currently 26, so that retirement is within 14 years, which sounds pretty good, but I want to do better. Which brings me to houses, specifically multi-unit houses. I can find duplexes for around $300,000 in my area. Most are 2-bedroom, 1-bath each side. I can rent out each side for around $1,300 depending on the house. I can buy these houses for 15% down, as owner-occupy, living there for 1 full year. Then buy another duplex with 15% down as owner-occupy and keep on repeating. Each time I jump to the next house, I will be holding onto the previous one and fully rent it out. This means that I can get a cash flowing property that can help me get more income per year, which helps me get more properties even faster for every time I buy a property. For a $300,000 house, a 15% down payment is $45,000. If after a year the house goes up in value and the rent coming in was around $2,600 a month, I would expect my cash flow to be around $500 a month once I moved out. Depending on the exact house, but we will stick with $500 as it is easy to count with. Every year that I can buy one house, it will help me buy my next house even faster. I'm able to save around $45,000 a year. I own one duplex as it is, and I plan to buy my next house with an FHA 3.5% down by the end of 2021. By that point, I'll have 2 houses, together worth around $750,000, and from then on, I will start doing the 15% down due to me not being able to do FHA again. In my area, I expect houses values to keep on rising dramatically, but for this scenario that I'm about to show you, let's assume it doesn't go up at all. This means that with $45,000 down, I can get a 2-unit house and live on one side for 1 full year, then move out and buy the next, and do this every single year. Let me show you the breakdown on Google Sheets. For basic math, I'm not going to calculate the cash flow of a house until the beginning of the next year. I also won't buy a house until every year is over. This way the math is easier to see. So there are a lot of numbers here, so let's break it down. In the top here, you can see that I need $45,000 for my next duplex, using 15% down. In the next tab, you can see the average home price is $300,000. With my wife and I's income, we can save $45,000 a year, not counting rental income. I have the years here on the left side that goes from 2021 to 2026, about 5 years from now. You can see how many houses I expect to have by what year, the total worth of these houses, the cash flow a month from these properties, the yearly cash flow, and the extra savings I will have by the end of the year when I save what I can plus the rental income. Right now I have 1 duplex, but by the end of this year, I'll be getting another. So these sheets start at the end of the year, which is 2021. You can see that I expect to have $12,000 a year profit from these 2 houses. But by the end of this year, I will use my savings to buy a house, which is why I'll end the year with $0 in savings. I of course am not touching my emergency fund, this is just my investment savings. By the end of 2022, I will buy another duplex, bringing in another $500 a month. After buying this house and having the income of the other properties, I will have an extra $12,000 in savings that rolls over to the next year. I'm only counting the income of the previous year due to it not knowing which part of the year I bought these properties with. By the end of 2023, I would again buy another duplex, bringing my monthly cash flow to $2,000 a month. My savings would increase by the $18,000 yearly income, increasing my savings from $12,000, ending the year with $30,000. This is where it gets really interesting, as I have enough money to buy 2 houses in 1 year, but I can't own or occupy 2 houses. So what I plan to do is buy 1 duplex at 15%, which I own or occupy, and then buy a vacation home at only 10% down, which I would Airbnb. The average duplex, I expect cash flow of $500, while the Airbnb I expect at least $1,000, if not more. This will make it so that I can get 2 houses in 1 year. Airbnb would likely be a lot higher than that, but for these numbers, we're just going to stick with 1,000 to be on the safe side. So what that means is that by the end of 2024, I will buy another duplex and the Airbnb vacation property that we were just talking about, bringing my cash flow from $2,000 up to $3,500 a month. A huge growth. Having savings at the end of the year of $24,000. I'm sure by now you can see the compounding effect here. The more houses I have, the more extra income I can have that helps me buy more houses. By the end of 2025, I can only get 1 house, but that gives me the savings of $66,000 by the end of the year. This means that in 2026, I will be able to buy another duplex that I get every single year and 2 additional vacation properties, another really big jump. Again, with Airbnb in my area, I can expect at least $1,000 a month. This jumps the cash flow up $2,500 in just this 1 year. This means that within the next 5 years, I will have 7 long-term rental houses and 3 Airbnb vacation homes, a total of $3 million worth of houses with a monthly income of $6,500. Now, this doesn't even count for those houses going up in value. In my area, in the last 5 years, houses have gained 12% on average more value every single year, which is a lot higher than the national average of just 3 to 4%. Even if this was a normal amount of appreciation, like 4%, it would dramatically speed up the time for me to hit my goals. The down payment I would need would get higher, but it also would mean that I could charge more for rent, and the growth for my appreciation would also be greater. Some ways that I can make this go faster is that after a couple years, I could sell my first duplex and would likely have enough equity in the house to be able to purchase 2 additional houses off them. I could also Airbnb the duplexes instead of long-term renting them out. I could utilize the appreciation that grows from the houses with HELOCs or a cash-out refinance to get the houses even quicker. I could buy a 4-plex instead of a duplex. I would need a larger down payment, but the cash flow would be a lot higher. I could buy houses out of state, or in another area that houses could be a lot cheaper, or possibly even just better cash flow, or sell multiple properties to buy 1 larger apartment complex. If I did all these things and accounted for basic appreciation, I think that it's extremely likely that I could have $5 million worth of houses, bringing in $10,000 plus a month. That is enough for both me and my wife to never have to work again, making us completely financially independent. Of course, things could go wrong. There could be an expensive eviction or a large unexpected repair, but I try to calculate for this in my cash flow, save some every month in case something like that does eventually happen. So most of this is already calculated for. And of course, there could be some huge housing crash. Even though I think it's very unlikely, this would actually help me buy houses even quicker. If houses crashed like 2008, which I think is very unlikely, houses in my area would drop from $300,000 down to $150,000. Which means I could buy 2 houses a year instead of just the 1 house a year I had planned in my schedule. A housing crash would actually speed up this plan an extraordinary amount. And there you have it, my plan for retirement. It'll be really cool to look back at this video and see how close my numbers were. I understand that life happens and plans change, but I'm extremely confident that I will be financially independent within the next 5 to 10 years. In your area, your house prices might be a lot different than mine. The interesting thing is that the theory of what I'm talking about works no matter where you are. Let's say you want to rent houses, and in your area, your houses are worth only $100,000. You might not be getting $500 a month, it might be closer to $200 a month, but the concept that you could buy houses that increase your income helps you buy houses even quicker, and then you just repeat the process again and again, is what I'm talking about today. Maybe you don't have duplexes and only have single family in your area. That's fine. Maybe your area has a lot better rental numbers compared to mine. To make a single family house work in my area, I have to Airbnb it. But there are parts in the country where you can get a really good rental income from a single family. That's the video, guys. I hope you enjoyed watching. Don't forget to hit subscribe and ask yourself and comment below, when would you like to retire?